Welcome, everyone. It is Sandra Alexa here from My Personal Muse. Okay. And if you go underneath, you can see in the thing, the website is My Personal Muse. I am an author, an educator, a spiritual and business coach. And I'm so excited today because we have a wonderful guest. And I gotta tell you how it happened. Okay. She is an author and her book is called Stripping Inherited Karma. Now, I'm living now in Medicine Hat, and I'm in the process of writing a new book too. It's on enslavement codes, ancestral karma, and whatever. And I go into Nirvana, and there is Crystal. And I just said to her, "What do you do?" And she told me she's got this book, Crystal Warberg, Stripping Inherited Karma. And I'm so excited because everybody is going through this right now. And I'm so excited that she agreed to share her story of how this happened and what you do. If you want to say what you do first and then how it happened, it's just, like I said to her, it'll just, this will organically blossom as to how it should be, Crystal. Thank you so much. I'm very pleased, okay? And then I'll get the hashtags from you after so that when we put it up, they can get a hold of you. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sandra. I started writing the book the idea came in about 2020, and I had some spare time being homeschooling my kids to do some healing. I married my husband in 2004, and over the years, there's been not a lot of growth. So when you're stuck home raising kids, forced to close your business, I am a energy worker. I feel I've upgraded to more of a chaos coach these days. I started journaling. I tell my clients and students the powers of journaling. So when I had all this time, I started journaling, and it was repeated stuff that I've been through 5 years of counseling for marriage counseling, that just writing it all out. Then it hit me after a while that the stories I often use to relate to my clients. So I thought, hey, what the hell? Let's try putting it together in a book and sell it. It's not a story, a poor me. It's this is what happened and this is how I grew. It's the story of seeing the patterns my parents in their relationship and how I'm repeating the same patterns. And I've got 2 boys that are starting to get interested in girls and seeing how their people that they're attracting they're willing to sacrifice who they are to make their person happy. And during this journaling, I discovered that it forces me, by publishing it, it forces me to be accountable, not just it's out there. And there's a lot of pressure because I now have to lead by example. I have to show them I can sit here and let it continue to ferment and eat away, or I can make the change.
Right. Can I just say one thing? Now, the most interesting thing is saying you show up for yourself. Now, there's a reason that I met you now and not 2 years ago, because on July 23rd of 2023, I call it the nodal position. It's a nodal axis in astrology. Okay. And it only comes around every 18 years. And this time we have an Aries North Node and a South Node Libra. And what we're to do this time is we are to claim our sovereignty and to honor who we are. And the bottom line is, I'll tell this story, then you finish, and you can really relate to this and probably your clients, is because the South Node is about, I'm going to please everybody. It's all going to be harmony. I'm not going to upset anybody and all of this kind of thing. And it's really funny because one of my clients who is she's an Aries sun, but it don't matter if you're an Aries sun, it's going to affect everybody more intensely, some. And so she phoned me and she goes, "Oh my God, I just went nuts." She's been married for so many years. She said, "I just went nuts. I just said to him, I'm done. I'm done taking care of you. I'm done this. You didn't put the meat away in the fridge. If you think I'm going to what entertain you, and all of this kind of, and she goes, I shocked myself. I went, no, you're now becoming authentic. It's about becoming emotionally honest with
Yeah.
yourself. Only when you reach that point, then you can start to blossom like that flower. And so it's perfect timing. Thank you so much, Crystal, for agreeing to be able to share. This is so important.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah. And so how has it affected your clients and that type of thing?
Well, it's funny because while I was digesting and writing, it was like the world went on hold and I was forced to turn in and process everything that I had experienced and was experiencing. And after meeting with you, my week has been, the last 2 weeks going to next week are full. And the people that are coming to me are actually going through similar cycles, that they're burnt out. They're tired of surrendering who they are to serve the people around. So
I love that. That's perfect, surrendering. But remember that day that I met you, I said, what are you doing? And you go, well, I'm not really working. And I go, yes, you need to be working. And so I'm really excited that everything has opened up for you.
yeah, it's just like a switch has flipped. And thank you. I think it was us meeting. It just kind of supercharged, woke me up.
Yeah, well, that's what we do for each other, though, Crystal.
Yeah,
You know, it's just if people would just realize that we're not in a competition. We're here to be able to assist each other and share on the journey. And what we share is going to touch somebody's soul, and they can get a hold of you and that type of thing. And then you'll share it, and even some of your clients might look at this video and then they might share it with somebody. Who knows?
yeah,
That's not up to me. I know the day I walked in, the day I seen you, the day that we talked, I knew that this had to happen.
yeah. It's divine powers at play here. Like you really, after talking with you and I was looking into how Pluto's shifting and how that affected me, like in 2004 is when I got married. It was supposed
Oh
to
my
be
God. Okay. Well, because guess what? But the North Node, okay, the last time it was in Aries was in 2000. So it was 2004 to 2006. So now it's an 18-year journey. That's when you got married?
I got married this Valentine's Day. It's supposed to be 20-year anniversary.
Oh my God. So, well, guess what? It's like 18 years. But so you got married and you had to go through that journey to find out who you really were.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 110%. Had I continued down the path that I was when I went to university, if I stuck with my career and didn't have kids, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I would have been swallowed up by society.
Right. Now, can I ask you something? So, what was your patterns that you seen in your parents? What was the pattern that you kind of figured out? Like, because we got lots of patterns, but there's usually
Yeah.
one bottom one, then they go up.
And I do talk about it in the book a little bit. My mom was very resentful towards my dad for always working, never being around, having control over all the finances of the house. And this is a pattern that I've allowed too. As I surrendered my career, it's I gave my power away. I didn't see
Right.
myself as an equal.
Right. Okay, but that's really interesting too, because I just finished a book called Game Changer that came out in 2019. And we were leaving the Piscean energy, which is a lot of codependency. And what we're moving is now the Aquarian, which was January 20th, 21st. We hit we hit a 29 degrees sun in Capricorn and a 29 degrees Pluto in Capricorn. The next day we went into a 0 degree sun Aquarius and a 0 degree Pluto in Aquarius. Boom. It just happened days ago. And so what that is we are to become whole beings. We are to have left, right brain, head, heart, hair, not have to have this codependency. It's like we're two whole beings that share. Okay. And so nobody dominates and tries to control or whatever, because that's basically what this whole 2020, when Pluto went into Capricorn, was about. It was about control. I have to have control. So it's mind control.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I feel that shift. Like when I look forward into future relationships, once my heart is healed, I'm looking for somebody who is my equal, who has purpose, but we can come together and be a pair, not one. One is a pair.
Right. And so I can ask you, so how long have you been divorced? How long have you been separated now?
We've been separated for 6 months.
Okay. And so, but that's really good. So you are healing and you're looking ahead. So there's no anger at what's happened, because what I say is you uncouple with love.
Yeah, it's been interesting. You always get everybody's opinion on what you should do. And he's my best friend. I still do love him, only we've grown apart. So rather than taking the easy way out and hopping into somebody else's bed, I've decided we are working through the emotions. And it has been a very emotional journey. And I think at this point, the hardest is seeing that he hasn't fully accepted. He's a little confused yet, but that's part of his journey now, is
right.
Understand.
And I think that's really good that you're able to detach and not take ownership for what he's going through. I think that's such a big thing right now. It's like, it's not feeling that you have to save him. So you have your strong boundaries right now.
It's hard. It's hard.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm
yeah.
sure it's hard. And then it's an adjustment for the children. It's an adjustment for everyone. But what you're doing is you're teaching them not to get involved in the same thing. And that's why basically the book I'm writing has to do with what happened to my grandmother 86 years ago, and the ancestral karma that is passed down from ancestral. Then we had the enslavement codes, then the ancestral, and then we have our personal karma. And it's time to clear it. You know, who's that, a kitty or a dog?
This is sister.
Oh, sister. Oh, sister's beautiful. She wants to be a part of this. That's good. Perfect. So now are you working though? Oh yeah, you are working. You're back working. And so you do Reiki.
I do Reiki. I'm also a certified yoga teacher. I'm just focusing on my personal practice right now. I will be looking for a studio to practice in eventually. I'm also a Ayurvedic counselor. So it's Indian medicine.
Oh my God. I got to tell you about the Ayurvedic. When I had my near-death experience in '88, and I ended up having to quit because I lost complete control of my bowel. And they said the doctor said that I would be in a wheelchair in 5 years. And I said no. So what I did was went to a doctor, Stephen Ong. He's one of the top in the world of Chinese medicine. I think he's retired now. And the other one was a Dr. Ben Tone, the Ayurvedic. And that's what I did. I did those two, and I wouldn't have anybody around me. And I did the Dr. Haas diet, the 10-day diet with maple syrup and that type of thing. Hey,
yeah.
But I can remember that what I was doing was I would get headaches so bad from the toxins, I guess, for leaving here, that I can remember putting Tiger Balm, and I had to learn to walk because it was all there was a parasite that hit the muscular. I'm very blessed. But yeah, the Ayurvedic is something else. So you actually can do the blood, what is it called, when you they check your pulse.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's the Ayurvedic, there's the Pitta.
It's Vata,
Pitta,
and Kapha.
Exactly. Oh, we'll have to do one on that.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, we'll have to do a session on that because it was very, very powerful for me. And I can remember having to do the ghee, like the ghee. Yeah. And then I had to buy the thing to clean my tongue. Yeah. Always clean the tongue. And then another thing is I remember there was special music, and I had to use the music at different times, like I think from 10 to 12 at night, 12 to 1, whatever. All of that had to be done together. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's all based on energy. Vata being air and ether, Pitta is fire and water, and Kapha is water and earth. So everything being energy,
Right.
everything
So
is
they're heavier. Yeah. And it's really funny when I went to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I was a spa consultant and I flew in to look at a new it was called the Vichy. It's a Vichy shower. So it's a massage bed and you have this shower on it, okay? And the people that brought me down, he worked with the Maharishi Yoga. And the Maharishi Yoga it's called the Raj. It's a spa. It's on 100 acres. Well, I didn't know anything about that at that time. Like I was coming down to see this machine or this piece of equipment. And so it's really interesting. So they picked me up at the airport and they didn't know what I looked like. And so they had a sign with my name. And so I went over and we walked out the door and I went, and the energy just went like this to me. I stopped and I went, oh my God, what is here? Well, it was the Maharishi Yoga's University plus the Raj, and they put me in the Raj to stay. But now the reason I stayed there, but there was nobody there. Like it's huge, okay? Yet I had laid down and I automatically got up. I thought somebody's coming down the hallway. They're coming to get me. And I looked out and sure enough, and he was a Kappa, which is interesting. But I could see him. And then there was times it was almost like he disappeared. And then I could see, yeah. And I was like, he just disappeared. So it's really interesting. So that's really fascinating that you do that. Okay. And so I need to see you with that because I'm really into that. Yeah. And then there's a doctor here. He's down at the co-op. He does healing too. He's a physiotherapist and he knew Dr. Stephen Ung. And I said, there's two doctors, Ayurvedic and the Chinese, because to me, that's energy. And that's what we're moving into.
Yeah. Ayurveda is based on 3 pillars. It's your sleep, your food, and the energy around you.
Right. Well, I'm not really good with my sleep because I don't sleep a lot. That's just the way I am.
Yeah, yeah. You got a busy mind. There's always
I think I'm doing a lot. I'm always creating. Okay. But then I'm at the point in my life where sometimes I work till 5 in the morning and then I can lay down for 2 or 3 hours and I can do stuff. Okay. But for somebody to say, you got to eat this, you got to do that. I kind of just, I listen to spirit. But what that illness did for me, it made me really aware of my whole being as an energy being. And not only did I do them, I did a lot of work like with reading and that. And I'll remember the thing of observing yourself. And Dr. Dwayne Dyer used to say it, to go up into the corner and see that you're observing yourself. And so you're mindful of how you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's really good. So anyway, if you want to finish off about the book, finish off about telling about yourself and where you are and how they can get a hold of you. And then what I'll do is I'll get the information from you. And then when I send this in, I put everything down so they can contact you.
Okay, sounds
and
lovely.
where to purchase the book.
Okay. Well, it can be purchased on Amazon, Apple, pretty much any form. You can go to crystalwarberg.com. There's links there as well.
Okay.
With the book, it was a lot. It was something I never thought I would ever write. I almost flunked high school English class, and it was probably the best experience next to having kids. So I've actually started a second one that I'm looking forward to eventually publishing as well. It's taking a little bit of time because it does access aspects of my life, the lessons I've learned. But this time I've taken it more to a mixture of fiction and reality.
Interesting.
I introduced in the first book a practice that I learned in yoga teacher training, my first 200 hours, where we named that little voice in our head. Well, in the second one, I've created her into a character, not a multiple personality, but as you read it, it might seem like that. I have conversations with the character's name is Pam. And some of the things that Pam and myself experience it crosses between reality and imagination. And some of the stories, you never know until the end of the chapter
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really interesting right now, because we've moved from the third to the fifth to the seventh dimension. We're there. It's not like, okay, I'm going to wake up and is everything going to be different? We're different. The ascension process has been going on. And the movie I like the best to show that is probably the Celestine Prophecy.
Oh, that's an amazing book.
I love the movie. Well, the movie I did both. I had the book and I got the movie, because with the movie, you can actually see the energy movement, and then you can see where they actually kind of disappear, where they can kind of dissipate with their energy in that.
I'll have to check it out. I haven't watched the movie. I've been a bit of a bookworm.
Right. Yeah, I've been a bookworm too, but it's just like, no, I'm trying to get this book done. But anyway, if you want to finish off, you go ahead.
I can't think of any other things to add to it.
Well, I think what you've done is you've told them who you are, what your background is, what basically the book was about, why you went to do the book. I think that's important, and what the process is, and what you do as a healer. And I'm really glad that you're back into it, because that day when you said, I'm not doing a lot, and it was just like, it was something that said, she's got to be doing more. And now you're doing it.
I feel like I'm in a state, I've gone through the transition, but now it's like I'm waiting for something or things to line up to really move things along. And I think walking into you in the store that day, it was like, you are one of my people. Something that I've been called to is getting in front of the camera, getting out on social media. I'm a Leo moon. I'm supposed to.
You're a Leo moon. I'm a Leo rising. And the weirdest thing is, the first time I walked into Nirvana, I'd been there years ago. I was visiting my son. I walked in, and there's a girl there, and she goes, oh my God, we've been waiting for you. I went, what? It's really funny, and I've really connected with them and done a lot, and just I love the whole energy and everything. And it's like working together. Nobody is in competition. Everybody works together for the benefit of all involved. I think that's what I'd like to say.
It's a lovely store. It is a community. It's women supporting women to be on their path, to find their strengths and support them in their weaknesses. So it's a lovely store.
No, it is. Okay, well, thank you so much, but don't leave me yet. And because I need to make sure that I stop recording here.